Doc, you've been a part of some of the greatest moments in postseason history. Heck, you are one of the greatest moments in postseason history. What you witnessed with this team last October, those moments, where do those rank on your all-time list?
I think from my perspective, my lens, it's at the top. I think obviously we won a championship in 2020. Being down 3-1 to the Braves was something that I'll never figure out how it happened for us to come back and win 3 in a row. Special team. Last year there were just a lot of different points in the season where our backs were against the wall. We faced elimination a lot last year, and for us to come out on the other side was truly spectacular. It just speaks to how connected that team was. And then, you know, when you look at Freddie's year, on the field, off the field, certainly, and what he had to endure, and to see now how it played out as he had one of the, if not the biggest moment in Dodgers franchise history.
Walk-off Grand Slam.
Walk-off Grand Slam in the World Series against the Yankees. So how that played out is something that really I'll never forget. And then ultimately having Walker close out that game after 2 days off. There's so many points of the team. But I think the takeaway is they're just such a tough team, and they were not going to be denied last year.
So the Dodgers win the World Series, and then your front office wins the offseason, completely reloads. This team arguably better than the one that won the title. Is that fair, Dave? The Dodgers ruining baseball, Dave.
The short answer is no, we're not. We draw 4 million fans a year at Dodger Stadium. The support that we get on merchandise and the brand of the Dodgers, and I just feel great that our ownership, our front office reinvests that money into the ball club and making us better. So on paper, we're more talented, if that's even possible. We're deeper, and I just, you know, when you have a X on your back, a bullseye on your back, and to know that the ownership and front office are doing everything they can to make you even better, then it puts more of the onus on us to kind of realize their expectations.
World Championship, great off season, and you show up here to Camelback Ranch, and you've got guys who are hungry. And you've got guys, some of the best players in baseball, coming in here. Mookie Betts telling guys he's not satisfied with 3 titles. He wants to win back-to-back. And you got Freddie Freeman telling guys we need to show up at 7 a.m., we need to do everything right, the fundamentals, so that way we can get back to October. Talk about the luxury of a manager to have superstar players with that kind of attitude.
It's everything. I think that sometimes as a manager, you can at times, especially when you've been around for 10 years, you don't ever want it to go on deaf ears. But a lot of the things that you say are kind of repeated because there are certain pillars or beliefs that I have. But when you have the players, certainly superstar players, echo and add their kind of twist to what they feel this organization, this ball club needs, that's everything. We have guys that have won multiple championships. We have guys that have come into camp that have not won a championship at all. So speaking to your hunger, now you have that kind of infusion. It just continues to raise the bar for the Dodgers.
And then, of course, you've got a guy like Shohei Ohtani, who just was the best player in baseball last year and now brings a whole other dimension to the game. You and I do this every year. We sat before the season last year, and I asked you, what did you think it was going to be like to have a guy like Shohei Ohtani in the team? And you said, I just don't know. I don't know what this is going to be. Now that you've had a year with Shohei, what is it like to manage maybe the greatest player that's ever played?
You know, it's actually very easy in the sense of having a player of his caliber motivated and disciplined. The other part of it is this year, he is going to pitch this year. He's going to be a designated hitter as well. So I don't know how to manage that. He's done it before. So a lot of my kind of managing of him is counting on information from him. It's from, you know, the coaches, the training staff, and figuring out what's the best balance for Shohei. But I do know that Shohei is all in on the Dodgers and whatever we do, and ultimately to win another championship. So he won an MVP last year, and certainly he's the front runner again to win the MVP, as he's now hitting and pitching.
As we all descend upon spring training here in Arizona, we media types, we come up with lists, right? And we think, okay, what's the storylines for the Dodgers coming into spring? And everyone has their own opinion. I want to know, the manager of the Dodgers, what's your opinion? Give me your top 3 storylines this spring for the Dodgers. Let's start with number 3.
Ooh, number 3 storyline for the Dodgers. I think, can Yoshinobu Yamamoto take the next step forward to be a number 1 or number 2 to anchor a championship caliber team.
And you've already said he's ahead of where he was last year.
And he is. I think number 2.
Number 2 storyline for the
story,
Dodgers this spring.
I think number 2 storyline is, can the offense continue to perform the way that they're capable of, which will allow a lot of coverage or protection over a staff that we need to manage how they're used, their usage. And when you win games by good margins and you win games because of your offense, that helps my decision making and allows me to protect guys.
Okay. And
Number
the number 1 storyline of the Dodgers this spring is?
I think the number 1 storyline is Shohei. You know, he obviously is always a header, but he is now hitting, coming off a major surgery, and now pitching. If he can just continue to stay healthy, make 20 plus starts, take 550 plate appearances, it's going to be a great year.
Okay, I like that. I like those 3. I had one other one on my list that you did not include, and it's the fact that you, Dave Roberts, you've won 851 games as manager of the Dodgers. The 3 guys ahead of you, you're 4th on the all-time list. The 3 guys ahead of you, you have a higher winning percentage than them. You've won a couple of World Series now as manager of the Dodgers. You're a former manager of the year, and you have an expiring contract, Dave. Is there any reason in the world that you should not become the highest paid manager in all of baseball? I'm not trying to play your agent.
I hope that's not a storyline, because you know me, Kyle. I definitely don't want it to make it about me. I don't want this expiring contract to be a story, to be ultimately a distraction for the players. It is getting late in the game. I'm very hopeful that something will get done. It's a place that I've made no secrets that I want to be here. This is the only organization I want to manage. I think I've invested a lot of time into the players, the organization, the fan base, the sponsorships. But as far as kind of a contract resolution, I'm hopeful.
Okay, that's fair.
Is that political enough?
That's very nice.
That's pretty political.
Yeah, as your agent, I don't want you to go there, Dave, but how long do you want to manage for?
You know, I do think that this is the only team I want to manage.
Okay.
I think probably another handful of years.
Okay.
I think that I'm getting better each year managing. I know that the trust that I have with the players has never been higher. I think my energy, my joy for the game is only getting, increasing. I'm not an aging player where my body, Father Time is going to win out. I think that as you get experience in this chair, you get better. So, I don't know. We'll see if this last contract, if it comes to pass, will be the last. We'll see.
All right, we wish you the best on that. Let me ask you about another guy with a lot of experience, and that's Clayton Kershaw, coming back for his 18th season, and we won't see him for a while, but to hear a guy like Blake Snell, one of your newcomers, talk about how one of the highlights of his career was to throw a bullpen with Clayton Kershaw, watching him. His value to this team obviously goes well beyond just throwing pitches on the mound in a game, right?
Yes, it does. I think early on in camp, there's been a lot to be said about, made of his relationship with Bobby Miller, which speaks to his character as a teammate, trying to make people around him better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, one of the reasons he signed with the Dodgers is to get a first-hand look at Clayton and how he goes about his business. Their lockers, as one of his demands was to be lockered right next
Really?
to Clayton,
Okay.
which is great. And I think for me is, you know, there's people that are great at what they do, but to want to continue to be better and learn and continue to learn. And so for Blake to really feel that having Clayton Kershaw watch one of his pens as being one of his most exciting, memorable moments speaks to him as a person, speaks to his character, right? And I know that Clayton knows that. And I'm excited to have Clayton back with us and back in camp. And I learn from Clayton, and I learn from people that are better than me. But I'm really excited to continue to learn more about Blake Snell.
And finally, let's circle back to Shohei Ohtani, because here's a guy, you talked about the focus that he has and the drive to be the greatest player that ever lived. And yet, he finds the time to play a prank on his own manager. Just tell us about that side of his personality that he comes up with that, and what were your thoughts when all that went down?
I love it. I love it. I definitely dish it out a lot.
You know?
And I think the thing is that we are seeing Shohei's real personality come out each and every day.
Yeah.
I thought last year we got to see more of Shohei, and I think that his teammates, the fans are starting to see that he is young at heart. He's a jokester. He's fun-loving, easygoing, but he takes his job seriously. And he certainly caught me off guard by taking my car and putting the toy Porsche, in my parking spot.
Did you get your car back?
I did get my car back.
Okay, good.
But I've got a memory of an elephant, so I told him, I said, hey,
payback.
you're 1-0 now, but we got a long way to go.
Do you get to keep the Porsche, by the way?
I kept the Porsche.
Oh,
that's
nice.
right. That's right.
Thanks, Dave. Always
All right,
appreciate
Cal,
your time.
thank you very much. Thank you. That was good.